From a forest that has an effect on cars to strangely dangerous woodlands, today we look at the most mysterious forests on Earth. Number 13. Epping Forest. On the border between London and Essex is the ancient English forest of Epping, a 5,900-acre former royal woodland. Home to rivers, bogs, and ponds, this lush green countryside has a rich yet haunting history. Rumors of ghostly appearances and strange sounds surround Epping Forest, with one legend claiming that the notorious Hangman's Hill within the woodland will creepily pull your vehicle uphill should you put it in neutral on the side of this infamous mound. It's thought that these haunted tales spawned from the numerous slain victims found in the woods since the 1960s. Number 12. Goblin Forest. With a verdant canopy blanketing the sun overhead and twisting branches covered in moss around every corner, New Zealand's Goblin Forest is a magical experience straight out of a fairy tale. The forest is the result of a volcanic eruption that occurred approximately 400 years ago from the nearby Mount Taranaki. In the wake of this volcanic activity, the prior forest, composed of the evergreen tree known as rimu, was wiped out. In its place grew the gnarled kamahi tree, winding over the age-old logs and stumps of the prior woods. The result is a wondrous world more reminiscent of a Tolkien novel than real life. A series of waterholes known as the Wilkes Pools offer a cascading oasis amid the verdant landscape, formed from an ancient lava flow dating back 20,000 years. Number 11. Deering Woods. Known locally as the Screaming Woods, this forest outside of Smarton, England is notorious for the supposed howls that echo across its wooded landscape. Local legend holds that on days when fog creeps into the Deering Woods, spine-chilling screams can be heard coming from the heart of the forest, and sounds of footsteps can be heard in the distance. Some say these cries are from the ghost of a highway robber who was caught and executed in the 18th century. Others believe the mysterious demise of 20 people in 1948 is to blame, an incident that suspiciously occurred the day after Halloween. The nearby town of Pluckley is home to even more supposed hauntings, and the region as a whole has proven to be a favorite among ghost hunters and their associated televised programs in recent years. Number 10. Pine Barrens. Stretching across 7 counties of wilderness in New Jersey, the Pine Barrens were once a productive region during the colonial era. Filled with towns and mills, these woods hosted early Americans up until the discovery of coal in Pennsylvania, inspiring most all to move on to greener, or in this case, rockier pastures. The remnants of the Pine Barrens' industrial past can still be seen in some areas, but the majority of that age has been engulfed by flora. In its place, the thick foliage is said to house the legendary monster known as the Jersey Devil. With the head of a goat, wings of a bat, a forked tail, and cloven hooves, the strange creature has been rumored to reside in the Pine Barrens for hundreds of years. Number 9. Witchwood Forest. Once a much larger royal hunting ground in centuries past, modern-day Witchwood is still an impressive grove in the English countryside of Oxfordshire. Much of the forest features large lots of space that have been cleared out for villages and agricultural needs throughout history. Witchwood Forest has a long legacy regarding its settlement, along with a rumored record of the supernatural. Some stories tell of ghosts, such as the tale of Amy Robsart, wife of Earl of Leicester. Legend holds that she passed due to a mysterious broken neck, then haunted her husband in the woods to warn of his own impending doom. 10 years later, he joined his betrothed in the afterlife, a fate said to befall any who encounter the spirit. But many other frightening entities are suspected of living in Witchwood Forest, including demons, hobgoblins, and of course, witches. Number 8. Elfin Forest. Southern California is most well known for beautiful beaches and incredible weather, and maybe congested traffic, but in the foothills of the Santa Rosa mountain range of San Diego County lies a far cry from the picturesque setting symbolic of the region. Here, the Elfin Forest shrouds numerous mysteries, most notoriously the myth of the White Witch. After venturing into the woods with her husband and son, a woman returned alone from the forest one day, telling townsfolk that her family had perished due to an attack by a gang of criminals, local legend tells. From there, she would spend nights studying strange books with otherworldly markings before returning to Elfin Forest dressed in all white. Visitor accounts report that her ghost has been seen wandering the woodland time and again, hovering through the trees in the darkness. But should you ask the equally mysterious nearby Harmony Grove Collective of psychic and occult followers, they'll tell you her spirit was laid to rest years ago. Number 7. Dow Hill Forest. The city of Kurseong is a hilly town based around education and tourism within the Indian district of Darjeeling. The charming town is popular for its educational options, calming orchard groves, tea plantations, and gorgeous scenery. But the local Dow Hill Forest is also notorious for being one of the most haunted places in all of India. A nearby road has garnered attention with visitors and townsfolk alike due to the supposed appearance of a headless boy, the unsettling gaze of red eyes in the dark, and the gray ghost of a woman all lingering by the fateful street. But of course, nicknamed Schooltown, Kurseong and the Downhill Forest wouldn't be complete without a haunted school as well. The creepy all-boys school near the edge of the forest is closed in the winter when the sounds of loud whispering and footsteps are claimed to echo through the desolate halls. Number 6. Hoia Baciu Forest. The Romanian forest of Hoia Baciu, or simply Hoia Forest, is a popular recreational spot for modern locals, covering a combined area of 729 acres. This European grove is perfect for activities like biking, archery, and paintball. However, long before these woods were packed with outdoor activities, they were chock full of urban legends. The Hoia Forest is smack dab in the middle of the historical region of Transylvania and is named after a shepherd who got lost in the forest, along with his 200 sheep flock. Visitors have reported everything from UFO sightings to the failure of electronic devices, from ghost sightings to groups attempting to open a gate to another dimension. This forest apparently has seen it all. The one thing you won't see, though, is Transylvania's most infamous resident, Dracula. As the real-life Vlad Dracula, known as Vlad the Impaler, is a renowned, unfeared figure in Romanian culture. Number 5. Aoki Gahara Forest. On the northwestern side of the famed Japanese peak Mount Fuji is the 14-mile verdant expanse of Aoki Gahara, also known as the Sea of Trees. This thick woodland is dense with trees and renowned for the peaceful silence it grants visitors, due primarily to the porous, sound-absorbing hardened lava atop which the forest grows. Historically, Aoki Gahara plays home to many spirits and ghosts, referred to by the Japanese as yurei. These were believed to be the remnants of senior citizens that had been left to perish by their families in an act called ubaste, due to times being dire and having too many mouths to feed. But more recently, these woods have become synonymous with taking one's own life, a tragic occurrence that has increased dramatically since the 1960s. Number 4. Black Forest. Stretching across more than 2,300 square miles of mountainous terrain in the southwestern region of Germany is the illustrious Black Forest. The territory is mainly blanketed in dark fir trees, giving the forest its namesake. These woodlands house a variety of industries within their borders, including lumbering and woodworking, along with the manufacturing of items like clocks, watches, and musical instruments. Many villages surround and occupy the Black Forest, and from these arise hair-raising tales of the folkloric dangers that await within. Some myths speak of monks banishing ghosts, alchemist experiments gone awry, magic wine vaults lost to time, and a good witch that blesses the wine of the land. And some stories warn of things much darker, like the Mumelsi, a 56-foot deep lake which supposedly houses either water nymphs or an underwater king seeking women to drag down to his kingdom, or both. Number 3. Tsingy Forest. Unlike many of the locations featured in this video, the Tsingy Forest of Madagascar isn't full of myths and folklore. Rather, this forest grants its visitors nightmares by way of cold, harsh reality. The African Nature Reserve and National Park is home to a wide variety of endemic animals, such as lemurs. It's not the beasts of Tsingy that pose a threat, though, but rather the environment itself. Tsingy is a term that translates to the phrase, "the place where one cannot walk barefoot," a fact that becomes immediately apparent upon viewing its rocky terrain. Sharp, jagged rocks burst up across this range, filling in for the trees of this forest, splitting the locally preserved mangrove forests. While hiking across this range, you're encouraged to take extra precautions, as one false step can lead to your ultimate demise. Number 2. Red Forest. Another strange forest made more unnerving by fact rather than folklore is the Red Forest of Ukraine. Named after the rusty red-brown shade of the woods, this ruinous place is just outside Chernobyl, the city notorious for one of the biggest radioactive accidents of all time. Today, the forest is one of the most contaminated places on Earth, but surprisingly hasn't deteriorated the way scientists expected. In the wake of the 1986 accident, much of the forest was demolished, with new saplings planted in their place. These replacement trees have flourished, despite record-high radiation radiation readings in the soil of the Red Forest. Biodiversity in this region has increased as well, with scientists believing a lack of human interference playing a large role. Even with highly potent radioactive waste under their feet, creatures like wolves, beavers, storks, wild boars, deer, and eagles have been sighted in the forest by researchers, from a safe distance, of course. Number 1. Crooked Forest. In 1930, a grove of roughly 400 pine trees were planted outside the Polish town of Gryfino. As these trees sprouted, though, they took on a mysterious shape, the likes of which has yet to be explained. Each of the plants features a strange 3 to 9 foot curve to the north, near the ground level of their trunks. Some believe that their odd growth stems from a tool or technique used by the original planting party, but evidence of such human-influenced abilities hasn't surfaced. Some say it was the result of a snowstorm, while others chalk it up to unique natural deformities. Whatever the case, there is no woodland like the Crooked Forest.